How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Game week 1 is officially in the books, and we already have some huge talking points to go through. We had surprise holes, some players looking like absolute bargains, and others who, well, maybe just fooled us with one good week. Today, we're diving into the standouts from Game Week 1, who you should genuinely keep an eye on, and which names you probably want to avoid falling into the trap of. We'll break down the early must-haves, look at some players who overperformed compared to their actual underlying stats, and, of course, talk about a few big names who might not be worth the hype. Remember, the first game week is always chaos, so staying level-headed is key. But at the same time, spotting the right early bandwagons can set you apart from the crowd straight away. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know which players deserve a place on your watch list heading into Game Week 2 and beyond, and which ones you should avoid wasting a transfer on. Alright, let's kick things off with the players that everyone's talking about, and we'll start with the obvious one, Erling Haaland. 2 goals in Game Week 1, 13 points, and once again reminding us that if you don't own him, you're basically playing FPL on hard mode. Nothing groundbreaking here. He's going to do real damage week after week, and the only real debate this season is going to be Haaland versus Salah for the armband. Next up, Reinders. Now, I mentioned him before the season started, and he's already proving me right. 10 points with a goal and an assist, and he's already had that early price rise. The thing is, I genuinely think he's one of those season-defining picks. He's 5.6 million, he's nailed, he's class on the ball, and City's attack flows through him. If you have an easy route to him, I'd just get in. But, and this is important, don't force it. Don't take a 4 just to bring him in after 1 week. There will be other opportunities. And finally, Rico Lewis. Look, I get it, 11 points, huge performance in the first week, but this is City we're talking about. The rotation risk is absolutely massive. He could easily play 60 minutes 1 week, then be benched the next. It's just too volatile. For me, it's a hard stay away. Don't get trapped by a 1 week score. If you want stability in defense, there are far better, more secure options out there. So that's the City trio. Haaland's essential. Reinders is one you want to be planning for. And Rico Lewis is just a classic Game Week 1 trap. Next up, let's talk about Spurs, because a couple of their guys really caught the eye in Game Week 1. We had Kudos with 10 points and Richarlison with 13. Both look sharp, both delivered, and both are now firmly on the FPL radar. But here's the important bit. They were playing Burnley at home. Newly promoted, expected to struggle, and Spurs did exactly what they should do in that kind of fixture. So while the scores look amazing, context matters. Kudus is the one I'm genuinely keeping a close eye on. At 6.5 million, if he nails down a spot and keeps delivering, that's a potential bargain. He was lively, direct, and involved in everything going forward. Definitely one to monitor, and honestly, he could become a proper value option as the season unfolds. Richarlison, on the other hand, a little less appealing for me. Yes, he scored twice, but he's classified as a forward, which makes him compete with guys like Watkins, Mateta, Haaland, players who are arguably more reliable. And the underlying numbers matter here. 2 goals from 0.78 XG means he overperformed quite a bit. Can he keep that up? Maybe, but I'm not buying it just yet. So my verdict, both Kudus and Richarlison are wait and see picks. Don't jump on them just because of 1 good week, especially with City away next. But after that, the fixtures turn really nice for Spurs, and that's when we might start taking them seriously. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about some other names that popped up in Game Week 1, starting with Calafiori at Arsenal. Wow. Now, he scored an absolutely ridiculous goal from a set piece in their 1-0 win over United, and fair play, it was a classic Arsenal goal. But here's the problem. He's not going to do that every week. Add in the fact that he's at constant risk of rotation in that Arsenal backline, and for me, it's a hard pass. The points look nice, but long-term, he's not the guy you want clogging up your defense spots. Now let's talk about Semenyo. This one actually stings a little bit because I had him in an earlier draft, and of course he goes and scores twice against Liverpool, ends up with 15 points, and looks electric doing it. And this is exactly what I was saying before the season started. He's massively underrated. He's direct. He's clinical when he gets his chances. And at that price point, he could be one of the real hidden gems of the season. Missing out on him this week hurts, but I definitely haven't ruled out bringing him back in later. And finally, Chris Wood. Yep, he also did the damage in Game Week 1. 2 goals, 13 points, and proving why Forest still loving up top. Now here's the thing. Am I rushing to get him back in? Not really. I'm still not convinced by Forest's attack as a whole. Pre-season, they looked flat, and even though Wood came through this week, I still see him as a bit too unpredictable for FPL. Great if you had him, but I wouldn't tear my team apart to bring him in just yet. So, to sum it up, Calafiori is one to avoid despite the points. Semenyo is definitely on the radar after that hole, and Wood, great week, but probably not sustainable long term. Now, before you go out and rage transfer every player in your squad, I just want to take a step back and reflect a bit on Game Week 1 as a whole. Because let's be honest, we've all just spent weeks tinkering with drafts, swapping players in and out, overthinking every little detail. And then the first deadline hits, and suddenly it feels like every decision you made is either a stroke of genius or the dumbest thing you've ever done. That's just how FPL goes. Here's the thing though. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. That's inevitable. Some of your players will blank, some unexpected names will haul, and yeah, you're probably going to be staring at your mate's team wondering how he lucked into 80 points when you scraped 55. But it's Game Week 1. It's literally the very first lap of a long, long season. And that's the key. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't win the race in the first corner, but you sure as hell can lose it if you panic. That's why making rash, reactionary transfers after one bad week is almost always a trap. Information is king at this stage of the season. We need to watch, learn, and adapt. Not tear our teams apart just because one guy scored a screamer or someone else blanked. So, if your Game Week 1 wasn't amazing, breathe. Stay calm. There's 37 more weeks to climb up those ranks. Play it smart, play it steady, and trust the process. So, with all that being said, what's the plan going into Game Week 2? Honestly, nothing. I'm rolling the transfer. I know it's boring, but this early in the season, saving a transfer is such a powerful tool. It gives you flexibility. It gives you 2 free moves in Game Week 3 when we'll have so much more information. And most importantly, it stops you from making a knee-jerk reaction that you'll regret later. Yes, there are a few tempting options out there. Semenyo, Kudus, even some defenders popping off. But patience is key. For me, keeping faith in the team, letting the season settle, and banking that transfer is the smartest play. It might not be flashy, but it sets me up better in the long run. So yeah, that's where I stand after Game Week 1. Decent start, room for improvement, but no panic buttons hit just yet. Let me know down in the comments how your first Game Week went, who surprised you, and what your transfer plans are. I'm curious to see how bold people are willing to go this early. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Best of luck for Game Week 2, everyone. Let's stay calm, stay sharp, and hopefully keep those green arrows rolling.